All right, I'd like to say Barak the Yahweh, Barak the Yahushua, Barak the Yahweh, Barak the Yahushua, Bahashem Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS. Citation to you brothers out there doing this work of true sincerity. So real quick, man, I'm going to start off in the book of Psalm 78 and 1. More speaking on you so-called Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans, which are the chosen people of Yahweh Bashmi Yahushua, who people inwardly call God and Jesus Christ. Let's start off. Psalm 78 and 1. Misha Asaph, give ear, O my people, to my law. And who is the Lord people? Well, let's get this real quick. Exodus, what is that, 3 and 10? And it says, come now, therefore, and I will send thee unto Pharaoh, that thou mayest bring forth my people, the children of Israel, out of Egypt. The Lord didn't say any other nation. He didn't say the Moabites, which are the Chinese, the Ammonites, which are the Japanese, the Ishmaelites, which are the Arabs, the Hamites, which are the so-called Africans, and the Edomites, which are the so-called white people. The Lord didn't say that. He said the children of Israel. And who are the children of Israel? You so-called Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans. And we could prove that through prophecy. We could prove that through the Spirit. Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter. You know, what is that? Second Ezra, I believe, the 13th chapter. We could prove what we're talking about through prophecy. You know, you so-called Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Well, you so-called Black, which is the kingdom of Judah, which is Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. You came over here by way of ships. The northern kingdom came over here by way of boats. You know, before the southern kingdom. The northern kingdom came over here by way of boats before the southern kingdom. So again, the Lord's people are the children of Israel, again, which is you so-called Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans. So let's grab that back. Psalm 78. Psalm 78 and 1. Give ear, O my people, to my law. Right? Because who was the laws, the statutes, and commandments was given unto? Well, let's go to the book of Leviticus 26 and 45. It says, But I will for their sake remember the covenant of their ancestors, whom I have brought forth out of the land of Egypt. And we just went back into the book of Exodus, chapter 3, verse 10. It says, and the sight of the heathen. Again, who are the heathen? So-called white people, so-called Chinese, Japanese, Arabs, and so-called Africans. And the sight of the heathens, that I might be their power. I am the Lord. These are the statutes and judgments and laws which the Lord made between him and the children of Israel. He didn't say any other nation. I don't see how you people are that simple to see that the Lord have only been dealing with his chosen nation of people. He have not dealt so with the other nations. And we're going to get that too in Psalms 147 and 19. Real quick, let me finish this off. It says, these are the statutes and judgments and laws which the Lord made between him and the children of Israel and Mount Sinai by the hand of Moses. Right? So let's get this real quick. Going back into the book of Psalms 147 and 19. And it says, he sheweth his word unto Jacob. And we know Jacob's name was changed to Israel after wrestling with the angel. It says, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. And who is Israel? You so-called Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans. He have not dealt so with any nation. So he have not dealt so with any nation that is outside of the children of Israel. That's simple as that. Let's read it back. He have not dealt so with any nation. And as for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye Yahweh Bashmi Yahushua. So the other nations, they didn't receive the laws, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Bashmi Yahushua to walk uprightly. That's why the nations were consistently in wickedness, because they didn't have the laws of the Lord. The laws of the Lord was only given unto the Israelites. So only the Israelites to strive for that righteousness, man. This is plain and simple to see, and the Lord don't change. Malachi 3 and 6. So when the Lord sent his son, he sent his son unto who? The children of Israel. What if they were scattered throughout the lands, the nations, and the countries? Or whether they was in their own land? That's who the Lord, that's who Yahweh sent Yahweh Shah for, man, was you Israelites. Even the Lord said in Matthew's, matter of fact, let's get it. This is Matthew's, well, I seem like I forgot that scripture. Matthew's 15 and 24. And it says, but he answered and said, I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel, or of the house of Jacob. Simple as that. The Lord have only been sent unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. He did not get sent to save everybody, to save all nations. The Lord is about the Father's business. He tells you that. And matter of fact, let's get it real quick. Luke 2 and 49. Let's get it. This is Luke 2 and 49. He says, and he said unto them, how is it that ye sought me? Wence ye not that I must be about my Father's business? So the Lord is about the Father's business. The Lord didn't come to do his own works. Matter of fact, what is that, man? If I can remember it, I think it's the book of John 6:38, maybe. Right, here it is. For I came down from heaven not to do my own will. This is Yahweh Shah speaking, who you ignorantly call Jesus Christ. He says, for I came down from heaven not to do my own will, but the will of him that sent me. And this is the will which hath sent me, that of all which he hath given me, I should lose nothing, but should rise it up again at the last day, man. So the Lord didn't come to do his own will. The Lord came to do the will of the Father, man. And the Father changes not. He has always been for Israel. He's going to always be for Israel, man. What if you people like it or not? What if you believe it or not? The Lord is for his people, man. All right, let's go back to the Psalms 78. Psalm 78 and 1. Michal of Asaph, give ear, O my people, to my law, and incline your ears to the words of my mouth. And what is the Lord's mouth? The Lord speak by the prophets. Matter of fact, let me get that. That's Hosea 12 and 10, I believe. Hosea chapter 12, verse 10. It says, I have also spoken by the prophets, and I have multitude visions, and used similitudes by the mystery of the prophets. So the Lord speaks through the prophets, man. That's what you also have to understand, is that the Lord speaks through the prophets. Psalm 78 and 2. I will open my mouth in a parable. I will utter dark sayings of old, which everybody can't receive, man. Everybody can't receive the understanding of this word, man. This isn't given to everybody. Matter of fact, let me grab that. This is the book of Matthew's 13:10. And he says, and the disciples came and said unto him, why speakest thou unto them in parables? He answered and said unto them, because it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, but to them it is not given. It says, for whosoever have, to him shall be given, and he shall have more abundance, but whosoever have not, for him shall be taken away even that he have. So the Lord only have showed the mysteries and secrets unto the servants of prophets. You know, it tells you that in what is that, Amos 3 and 7. Matter of fact, let me grab that real quick. Amos chapter 3 verse 7. And it says, surely the Lord power will do nothing, but he revealeth his secrets unto his servants, the prophets, man. So the Lord is only dealing mainly with the prophets, you know. Why? Because the prophets coming back in that lot, like it tells you in the book of Daniel. I don't know where that scripture specifically yet, but the prophets are coming back into their lot. Matter of fact, let me get it real quick. So if you're a prophet and you out there prophesying this truth, this word, you know, it was ordained for you to do so. This is the book of Daniel 12:13. But go thou thy way till the end be, for thou shalt rest. So thou shalt rest and stand in thy lot at the end of the days. So if you was a prophet in the ancient days, you're a prophet now in these days. You know, so you're coming back into your lot to prophesy against what? This kingdom. Let me get this. This is Jeremiah 28:8, and then we can go back to that Psalms. I don't want to get off topic. I'm just making a point here. Jeremiah 28:8. The prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms of war and of evil and of pestilence. The prophets which prophesieth of peace, when the word of the prophet shall come to pass, then shall the prophet be known that the Lord has surely sent him. And the prophets are being known, you know, starting with GMS on down. Other camps, I believe they prophesy, but you got other camps that don't prophesy, you know. But I'm going to say GMS on down because I'm in GMS. And we prophesy of the R5D chip, which is the mark of the beast when you grow into the Hebrew. Whether if you got guys out there that believe it or not, that's on them. You know, we prophesied of martial law. We prophesied of racial wars. We prophesied of famine. And all those things are brewing up. You can see it. All those things are brewing up. So let's go back to Psalms 78. Psalm 78. So that was just getting to the point of the scriptures that we was going into, you know, Psalm 78, 1 and 2. You know, we going to get precepts as we go. Because ultimately, the book of Psalm 78 get into the rebellious children or the disobedient children, which is you so-called Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans. But as we go on, we'll grab precepts if the Spirit is willing. And we'll just keep moving on from there. So this is Psalm 78. And 2, I will open my mouth in a parable. I will utter dark sayings of old, which we have heard and known, and our fathers have told us. Right, our fathers have told us. But our fathers rebelled against the word of Yahweh Shem Shai to do their own thing. And I'm gonna go to one of my favorites. I'm gonna get the one of the ones I like going into when it gets into our father. So this is 2 Kings 17 and 8. And it says, matter of fact, let me grab 7. For so it was that the children of Israel, which is you so-called Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans, have sinned against the Lord. Their power which had brought them out, Salakia, that brought them up out of the land of Egypt, from under the hand of Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and had feared other gods, and walked in the statutes of the heathen, whom the Lord cast out from before the children of Israel, and of the kings of Israel, which they had made. Right, because the Lord was with us, man. The Lord cast out a lot of nations for our sake. And even after he did that, our people rebelled. Even our people still rebelled against the law, statutes, commandments of Yahweh Shem Shai. Verse 8, and walked in the statutes of the heathen. And remember, the heathen are the so-called white people, Chinese, Japanese, Arabs, and the Africans, man. And walked in the statutes of the heathen, whom the Lord cast out before the children of Israel, and of the kings of Israel, which they had made. And the children of Israel did secretly those things that were not right against the Lord their power, and they built them high places in all their cities, from the tower of the watchman to the fenced city. And real quick, I just wanted to say this. This is a reason why Yahweh Shai had to been that sacrificial lamb. This is the reason why he had to been a sacrificial lamb, and because our people were consistently committing sin, purposely, willfully committed sin. You know, so this is why Yahweh Shai had to come. He had to come and die for Israel, or Israel wouldn't be saved. And mainly, I'm talking about the elect. The elect. And it says, and they set them up images and groves in every high hill and under every green tree. And our people doing that now. If you walk into a lot of so-called black, Hispanics, and Native American houses, they got the so-called white Jesus up, man. All kind of saints and idols and things like that, which the Lord told them not to put up, but they do it anyway because our people spiritually, but also being in this world under Esau rulership has become carnal. So our people need something to see in order to worship it, man. It says, and there they burnt incense in all the high places, as did the heathen whom the Lord carried away before them, and brought wickedness, Salakia, and wrought wicked things to provoke the Lord to anger. For they served idols, whereof the Lord hath said unto them, Ye shall not do this thing. Yet the Lord testified against Israel and against Judah. So Israel represents the northern kingdom, and Judah represents the southern kingdom. During the time of the split, in the first book of Kings, Solomon's son, it says, by all the prophets and by all the seers, saying, turn ye from your evil ways and keep my commandments. So the Lord speaks by way of the prophets to the people, man. It says, and keep my commandments and my statutes according to all the law which I command your fathers, and which I sent to you by my servants the prophets. Hosea 12:10. It says, notwithstanding, they would not hear, but hardened their necks, like to the neck of their fathers, that did not believe in the Lord their power. So, these people sit up here and they say, who are you to judge me? Well, I'm the servant of the Lord, man, because I'm willing to do his will, and you're not. Speaking to you so-called black, Hispanics, and Native Americans. We're servants of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. We're prophets of the Lord. Prophet only mean to be a spokesman or a speaker. So the Spirit is upon us to speak the words of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. What is the words of the Lord? They're in this book. You speak the words of this book, and there you go. The truth is going to be brought out. Verse 15, and they rejected his statutes and his covenants, which they're doing now. That's why the scriptures tell you in Ecclesiastes 1:9, there's no new thing under the sun. Our people are rejecting the Lord, law, statutes, commandments. Then you're rejecting them now by saying that his law, statutes, commandments are done away with. And they rejected his statutes and his covenants that he had made with their fathers, and his testimonies which he had testified against them. And they followed vanity and became vain, and went after the heathen that were round about them, concerning whom the Lord hath charged them, that they should not do like them. Deuteronomy 7, and starting off, I believe, at the first verse. It says, and they left all the commandments of the Lord their power, which they're doing now. Jake believed that it's okay to eat pork. Jake believed it's okay to have sexual intercourse with another man's wife. Even a Judite woman, the Issacharite woman, the Gadite woman believe it's okay to leave their husbands and go on to another man. And if you could understand the full understanding on the whole husband thing, then you could understand that the one that you have right now isn't even your husband. The one that have taken your virginity is your husband, according to the scriptures. But we're not going to get into that. That's a whole different topic. Something I'll do later if the Spirit be willing. Verse 16, and they left all the commandments of the Lord their power, and made them molten images, even two calves, and made a grove, and worship all the host of heaven, and served Baal. And they caused their sons and their daughters to pass through the fire, and use divinations and enchantments, and sold themselves to do evil in the sight of the Lord, to provoke him to anger. You're doing that right now. You got the different gangs out there that are sacrifice other people to worship their gods, man. Therefore the Lord was very angry with Israel, and removed them out of his sight. There was none left but the tribe of Judah only. Also Judah kept not the commandments of the Lord their power, but walked in the statutes of Israel, which they had made. And when you get into this history, this is how you know that Israel wasn't only in the land of Judah. They was scattered throughout the throughout the nations and countries due to the captivities that the Lord put us in, man. Had the nations put us in, Salakia. that the Lord had the nations put us in. Verse 19, also Judah kept not the commandments of the Lord their power, but walked in the statutes of Israel which they made. And the Lord rejected all the seed of Israel and afflicted them and delivered them into the hand of spoilers until he had cast them out of his sight. For he rent Israel from the house of David, and they made Jeroboam the son of Nebat king. And Jeroboam drove Israel from following the Lord and made them sin a great sin. So this is during the time of Jeroboam, man. This is during the time of the split. So like I said, First Kings. It says that for the children of Israel walked in all the sins of Jeroboam, which he did, they departed not from them, until the Lord removed Israel out of his sight, as he has said by all his servants the prophets. So was Israel carried away out of their own land to Assyria unto this day. And then it tells you how the king of Assyria brought these different nations unto the land of Samaria, man, which the land of Samaria dwells in the land of Israel. You know, and I'll go into that another time, but I'm gonna go ahead and get this Psalm 78 back. But our people is a rebellious people. Until this very day, our people are a rebellious people. Our people come against Yahweh Shema Shai. You know, our people stay away from the laws and statutes, commandments. You know, because our people consistently say that the law, statutes, commandments are done away with. So Psalm 78 and 2. I will open my mouth in a parable. I will utter dark sayings of old, which we have heard and known, and our fathers have told us. We will not hide them from their children, showing to the generation to come the praises of the Lord and his strength and his wonderful works that he have made. So you're supposed to teach the next generation these laws, statutes, and commandments. You're not supposed to tell the next generation of you so-called Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans that the law, statutes, and commandments are done away with. You're not supposed to teach that. But you teach it anyway because you don't have the Spirit of the Lord within you. Verse 5, for he established a testimony in Jacob and appointed a law in Israel, man. He didn't appoint a testament unto the other nations and appointed a law unto the other nations. He gave this unto his chosen people. It says, which he have commanded our fathers, that they should make them known to their children, that the generation to come might know them, even the children which should be born, who should arise and declare them to their children, and the Lord change not. So if the Lord, if Yahweh wanted you to keep these law, statutes, commandments, then that's what you were supposed to do. Yahweh Shai didn't come to do away with the law, statutes, commandments. He didn't come away to abolish the law, statutes, commandments. He came to do what? Exhort or establish even more the law, statutes, commandments. Verse 7, that they might set their hope in the Most High and not forget the works of the Most High, but keep his commandments, because those be the works of the Lord. It's the commandments, the laws, the statutes, and commandments, man. Because the Lord command you to not to eat pork. He command you not to worship different gods. He command you to do his righteous works. But what you people do, worshiping Christmas, you putting up lights, those things are not of the spirit of Yahweh Shema Shai. Those are things of the world. So the so-called white man can make more money. That's obvious to see. Verse 8, and might not be as their fathers, a stubborn and rebellious generation, a generation that set not their heart, which is the mind, upright, and whose spirit was not satisfied with the Most High. The children of Ephraim, right? And Ephraim represents the northern kingdom. It says, being armed and carrying bows, turned back in the day of battle. They kept not the covenant of the Most High and refused to walk in his laws. You doing that now, man. Gad, Issachar, Naphtali, Asher. You're doing that right now. You're rebelling against his laws. Consistently saying his laws are done away with. Putting Edomite Mary on your car, or putting Edomite Mary on your wall, or putting Edomite Jesus, or getting a tattoo of Edomite Jesus on your arms or your chest. You people are bugged out, man. You people are out of your fucking mind. Show me in the scriptures where it is okay for you to put markings on your body. You know, I hate the fact that me and the brothers that teach this word was once in darkness, man. That shit sucks. But we have to learn the ways. We had to be shown the ways of wickedness in order to appreciate the kingdom to come, man. You know, now it's time to repent. Now it's time to turn back unto Yahweh Shema Shah. You know what I'm saying? Verse 10. It says, they kept not the covenant of Most High, and refused to walk in his laws, and forgot his works and his wonders that he hath shown them. Marvelous things did he in the sight of their fathers in the land of Egypt, in the field of Zon. He divided the sea and caused them to pass through, and he made the waters to stand as an heap. And the daytime also he led them with a cloud, and all the night with a light of fire. Man, that's beautiful what the Lord did for us, man. You know what I'm saying? You could only imagine that walking in that wilderness, it would have been hot as hell, that sun beaming down the way it was. But the Lord said, let's get it back. He said, in the daytime also, he led them with a cloud. So he had the cloud blocking the sun, man, blocking that heat. You know what I'm saying? And it says, and all the night with a light of fire. So in the nighttime, the Lord had a fire out there, man, so we were able to see where we was going. Man, the Lord was really with us, man. But you people have to see it in order to believe it. But the Lord said, blessed is he that have not seen and but believe, man. He cleaved to the rocks in the wilderness and gave them drink as out of the great depths. He brought streams also out of the rock and caused waters to rain down like rivers. And it says for that rock was a Mashiach, man. So that was Yahweh Shai. It says, and they sinned yet more against him by provoking the Most High in the wilderness, man. It's like our people are rebellious people. Our people are real stoddish children, stupid. And they tempted the Most High in their heart by asking meat for their lusts. Yea, they spake against the Most High. They said, can the Most High furnish a table in the wilderness? Behold, he smote the rock that the water gushed out and the streams overflowed. Can he give bread also? Can he provide flesh for his people? Therefore the Lord heard this and was wroth. So a fire was kindled against Jacob, and anger also came up against Israel, because they believed not in the Most High. And that's what's happening right now. When we out there teaching on the highways and byways, our people don't believe. You don't believe in the Most High. You believe with all that talking, man. You believe with your mouth. Hold on, let me get that real quick. We're going to come back to this verse 22. What is that? Isaiah 29. Isaiah 29:13, I believe. Right, so Isaiah 29:13. It says, wherefore the Lord said, for as much as this people draw near me with their mouth and with their lips, do honor me, but have removed their hearts far from me, and their fear towards me is taught by the precepts of men. So you do all that talking, right? But you dishonor the Lord, man. Because your mouth is close to the Lord, but your heart, which is your mind, is far from him, man. You're not willing to keep his law, statutes, commandments with the best of your ability. Psalms 78:22. And it says, because they believed not in the Most High, and trusted not in his salvation. Though he had commanded the clouds from above, and opened the doors of heaven, and had rained down manna upon them to eat, and had given them of the corn of heaven, men did eat angels' food, and set them meat to the full. He caused an east wind to blow in the heaven, and by his power he brought in the south wind. He rained flesh also upon them as dust, and feathered fowls like as the sand of the sea. And he let it fall in the midst of their camp, round about their habitations. And it must have been something beautiful to see those things, man. It must have been something beautiful to see those marvelous works. And our people was just still foolish people. So they did eat and were well filled, for he gave them their own desire. They were not estranged from their lust, but while their meat was yet in their mouth, the wrath of the Most High came upon them and slew the fatness of them, and smote down the chosen men of Israel. So the Most High was putting them to death, even though He was doing these marvelous works for our people. Our people was still on some demon shit, man. For all this they sinned still, and believed not for his wondrous works. Therefore their days did he consume in vanity, and their years in trouble. And when he slew them, then they sought him, and they returned and inquired early after the Most High. And they remembered that the Most High was their rock, and the high power their redeemer. Nevertheless they did flatter him with their mouth, and lie unto him with their tongues. And I just put that out. For their heart was not right with him. And I just put that out in the book of Isaiah 29 and 13. For their heart was not right with him, neither were they steadfast in his covenant. But he, being full of compassion, forgave their iniquity and destroyed them not. Yea, many a time turned he his anger away and did not stir up all his wrath. So I'm going to pretty much stop it right there. But you can also see the point in that as well, man. Even though our people rebelled and came against the Most High, he always showed mercy unto his people. The Lord never done away with his people, man. And that's what's wrong with you people of today, is that you believe that the Lord did away with his people. And that's not what the book of Romans, the 11th chapter says. The book of Romans, the 11 and 1 says, I say then, have the Most High cast away his people? The Most High forbid. And this is Paul speaking, for I'm also am an Israelite of the seed of Abraham of the tribe of Benjamin. So the Most High never cast away his people. The Most High never got rid of them. The Most High have whipped them by way of the other nations, but Israel, you so-called Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans, will always be the Lord's people. But yeah, man, I'm going to go ahead and end it from there and say Barak de Yahweh, Barak de Yahweh Shai, Barak de Yahweh, Barak de Yahweh Shai. More likely, I'm going to make a part 2 on, let's see what we stopped at again. I believe that was Psalms 78 and I want to say 20, what was it? Let's see. Psalm 78 and 31, I believe, is what we for. Are they? No, that wasn't it. Let me see. Psalm 78 and 38. That's where we stopped at. So more likely I'm gonna make a part 2 on this. On Psalm 78, 38. I'll start from there in the next video, Lord willing, if the Spirit be willing. But I'm gonna go ahead and cut it off from there and say Barak de Yahweh, Barak de Yahweh Shah, Barak de Yahweh, Barak de Yahweh Shah, Bahashem Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS, and salutation to you brothers out there that's doing this work with you sincerity. I like to say Mawasla Bible, which is death to Babylon. Lord willing, this is edifying to you brothers out there that's doing this work with you sincerity. I like to say Shalom.